So what if you could leave your body, travel through time, or even reshape reality just by thinking about it? Now that sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But back in 1983, the US Army actually commissioned a report to find out if it was real. Today, we're going to tear open that declassified document, a truly bizarre and fascinating roadmap of consciousness called the Gateway Process.
Okay, so here we go. What you're looking at is the actual cover page of the official report which the CIA declassified back in 2003. Now, this isn't some conspiracy theory from a dark corner of the internet. This is a formal paper from the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command, and the subject? An analysis and assessment of the Gateway Process. The request came from a commander who really needed to know if this stuff actually worked.
And here it is, the mission statement, right from the first page. The author, Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonald, was basically tasked with two things. Figure out how the heck the Gateway experience worked, and more importantly, if it was practical. In other words, could it be used? So right from the get-go, you have to understand this was treated as a very serious investigation into a potentially powerful tool.
So how on earth did they think any of this was even possible? Well, the journey doesn't start with psychic powers or magic. Nope. According to this report, it all starts with cold, hard neuroscience and a clever way to basically hack your own brainwaves.
The whole technique is built on this really fascinating and very real phenomenon called the frequency following response. It's actually pretty simple. Your brain has this natural tendency to sync up with the frequency of sounds it hears. If you listen to a steady beat, your brain waves literally start to fire at that exact same rhythm. It's kind of like your brain is unconsciously tapping its foot to the music.
And this is exactly how they took advantage of that principle, using a technique called hemisync. Here's the rundown. You put on headphones, but each ear gets a slightly different sound frequency, say 100 Hz in your left ear and 104 in your right. Your brain can't quite process both at once, so what does it do? It creates a third internal phantom beat at 4 Hz, the difference between the two. And what's special about 4 Hz? Well, that happens to be the frequency of a deep, meditative theta brainwave state. Hemisync is basically a shortcut to guide your brain exactly where you want it to go.
And this diagram from the report just brilliantly illustrates the end goal. By creating this one unified frequency, the technique forces the logical, analytical left side of your brain and the creative, intuitive right side to get on the same page, to sync up and work together. The report argues that when both sides of your brain are humming along in perfect harmony, you unlock this whole other level of awareness and focus. You become way more powerful than normal.
Okay, so we've hacked the brain, but to really understand where this report goes next, you kind of have to let go of everything you think you know about reality. Because the Gateway Process isn't just about some fancy meditation. No, it's based on an absolutely radical theory of the universe itself.
The document flat out says there's no such thing as solid matter. Instead, the universe, and everything in it, is made of these complex, interacting energy fields. A chair, a planet, even your own consciousness. It's all just different patterns of vibrating energy. The physical world we see, it's an illusion. A very persistent one, but an illusion nonetheless.
Now, to explain this, the report uses this amazing analogy. I want you to picture dropping 3 pebbles into a perfectly still bowl of water. You'd see these complex, overlapping ripple patterns, right? Now, imagine you could instantly freeze that water. That frozen pattern, with all the ripples crisscrossing each other, that is a hologram.
But here's the truly mind-bending part about holograms. If you were to smash that block of ice into 1,000 tiny pieces, and you picked up just one little shard, that single piece would still contain the information for the entire ripple pattern. I mean, it would be fuzzier, a bit lower resolution, but the whole picture would still be there. That's the key takeaway here. The part contains the whole.
And this is where things just go full-on cosmic. The report takes this idea and scales it up to, well, everything. It suggests our entire universe is just one giant evolving hologram. This actual diagram from the document shows it as a cosmic egg, or a torus, a self-contained system where all this energy and consciousness is just endlessly cycling through.
So, if the universe is a hologram, what does that make us? Well, according to this report, your brain doesn't create consciousness. It's the other way around. Your consciousness is its own energy field, a grid that exists all on its own. Your brain is just the receiver, the tool that reads and decodes a tiny little piece of the universal hologram, creating what you perceive as physical reality.
And that, of course, leads to a really profound question. If your consciousness is just an energy field reading a hologram, and your brain is just the decoder, well, can your consciousness tune into a different part of the hologram? Can it leave the body and space-time behind altogether?
The report says, absolutely yes. And the destination it describes is called the Absolute. This is supposedly the source of the universal hologram itself, a realm of pure, infinite consciousness, totally at rest, existing completely outside of time and space. Think of it like the cosmic hard drive from which all of reality is being projected.
And here's the key action. By using that HemiSync technique to raise the frequency of your own consciousness higher and higher, the report claims you can reach a point where you literally click out of our reality. Your consciousness basically desyncs from your physical body and is suddenly free to see the universe without the limits of time and space.
This slide is just fascinating because it's their actual attempt to draw what that clicking out process looks like. This diagram shows an energy wave, your consciousness, oscillating up and down. At a high enough frequency, the peaks of that wave actually move beyond the boundaries of our dimension. And in that instant, you are literally outside of our space-time.
So, what's it like out there? Well, here, inside our space-time, time moves in one direction. Cause always comes before effect. But outside, in the absolute, the past, the present, and the future all exist at the same time. They're all accessible. You're not stuck in a physical body anymore. You are pure consciousness, seeing the vast information of the universal hologram directly.
Which brings us right back to that original question from the Army commander. What is the ultimate practicality of all this? I mean, why would an intelligence agency be so interested in a state of pure consciousness? Well, the answer is in the incredible, almost unbelievable abilities the report claims are possible.
Once you can get to this state, the report lists a bunch of advanced techniques. Things like problem solving by tapping into universal knowledge, remote viewing to see things far away, and this is the most incredible one, patterning, the ability to use your focused consciousness to actually alter the hologram, to manifest your will on reality, and, yep, even traveling to see the past and the future.
But before you get too excited, the report adds a major dose of reality. Mastering any of this is described as being extraordinarily difficult. For just one of the techniques, Focus 15, which is used for time travel into the past, the document itself estimates that probably less than 5% of all participants ever actually achieve that state. So yeah, not easy. So where does that leave us? From hacking your brain with sound, to the entire universe being a hologram, to traveling outside of time itself. It is, without a doubt, one of the wildest documents ever released by a government agency. And you're left with this one big question. Was it all just a bizarre intellectual fantasy, or was it a genuine, maybe fleeting, glimpse into a reality that some of the most powerful organizations in the world once took very, very seriously?